A blessed day, everyone. Welcome to our presentation. As you can see on the screen, our topic today is about the Building Steel Trust proposed 5-bedroom, 2-story residential building. But before we start, let me introduce to all of you my group mates and the topics we are about to discuss. For the plan of the structure, I, Princess Anne Giyab, will introduce about it. For the planning and design consideration of the structure, Ms. Maydel Ancheta. For the construction procedure or methodology, we have Corinne Cortez and Bea Viesta. And for the quality control, we have Angelica Lim. For the first slide, we have here the architect's perspective. For the second slide, we have the foundation plan or the ground plan of the structure and the second floor plan of the structure. And for the next slide, we now have here the front elevation, right side elevation, rear elevation, and the left side elevation of the structure.
So for planning and design considerations of this structure, we have here the design criteria, the dead loads, live loads, gravity loads, and the wind loads. And according to the designer, we must consider under gravity loads. The top and bottom chords of the truss provide the compression and tension resistance to overall bending, and the bracing resists the shear forces.
For the construction procedures or methodology, here is the given detailed methodology for construction of a civil project which can be used for planning a good project. So as you can see in the chart, we may start at initiating, planning, executing, monitor and control, and lastly closing. The contractor shall undertake the responsibility for clearing off-site in order to remove any existing revegetation, steel, concrete, and new structure, elements identified for demolition, piping debris, loose wind-blown sand, and other foreign materials as applicable. Construction methodology refers to the planned method of construction, taking into account all contractual and legal requirements, construction constraints, risks, and opportunities. And lastly, this includes the temporary and permanent works and the services required to complete the construction works. So the next slide, implementation strategy plans and procedural approach. In developing the planning site location, should be considered not it will be necessary to mobilize and establish at the site various temporary facilities and equipment prior to commencing the works.
In the components of a steel truss, each triangle is constructed with two top chords, a bottom and webs, all connected at the end by joints. Roof buttons are securely fixed to the truss top chords. According to the designer, the alternative is to build up the roof frame with 2x8 and 2x10. So in this next slide is the typical truss detail. The steel angle bar is used in this structure. They are formed by bending a single angle in a piece of steel. Angle steel is L-shaped. So in the next slide, we will present a video presentation about the truss. In addition, the type of roofing that is used in this truss is the Banawe Tech roofing, preferably the brown or gray. So ang gamit nilang types ng roof dito is the hip roof. So in this truss, it consists the top chord. The top chord is used to create the upper perimeter of the structure or the roof. The top chord is configured to resist live loads such as those applied during construction, as well as wind loads, snow loads, and others. So, in the sag bar or sag rod is provided in purlins to support the section in bending about the minor axis. They provide the lateral support to purlin to prevent sag in the direction parallel to the sloping roof due to vertically applied loads and reduce their tendency to bend laterally and twist. So in so the pre-painted long span roof sheet is a rib type. The ridge cap is pre-painted. The truss is symmetrical about center line. In the connections of these trusses consist the riveted, bolted, and welded.
For very long span structures, trusses may be used instead of rolled sections for the rafters or for structures that have ducting and other services in the roof. Steel trusses are highly efficient structural forms, able to span considerable distances. They are visually light and services can pass through them. Trusses may be fabricated from a variety of steel sections, including circular, square and rectangular hollow sections, angles, flats, rods and cold-formed profiles. Trusses may be 2- or 3-dimensional. 3-dimensional structures comprise of triangular cross-sections or occasionally rectangular cross-sections to accommodate walkways or building services.
Quality control. Can you use steel trusses for a house? According to the designer, steel frames can also be recycled easily, making this option an ideal one for the environmentally conscious home. Although steel frame roof trusses require more skill to install, an experienced team should be able to fit them quickly and efficiently. So lastly, at this point, it is important to know the quality benefits of a certain truss. So according to the designer architect Brandon Escobar, fink trusses are the most common type of truss. These provide the support for the rafters and give the roof its rigidity. That's all for our presentation and thank you for listening.